updates from last time, which was like a week ago, I guess. Since then, I've sold the couch. And since I sold the couch and I sold the bed already, I'm now sitting over here on the floor, which sucks. But it's good that I got the couch sold. What else? I was about to sell the lawnmower. I had someone who was interested, and we were messaging yesterday back and forth when he on Facebook when he suddenly messaged that he was on his way. The problem was I was working at the time. I didn't see the message, and I don't know why he would just suddenly decide he's gonna come by and show up and buy it without getting with me first, arranging it first. So I messaged him, told him it was gonna take me like half hour to get there, but. So I drove all the way back home, and he ends up. I guess he said he got the message on his way here, so he turned around and went back home. So I kind of wasted a lot of time just driving back here and waiting for him. Then he said he wanted to pick it up today, and I was messaging him today to arrange that, and he just stopped responding. So I do have a few other people messaging about the lawnmower, so hopefully I can get that sold. If they've sold anything else other than the couch, and that was a weird experience. That was on Sunday. It was two guys. They show up, and they don't come to the door. They just sit in their car, and they message me on Facebook that they're here, which is weird. So that happened with the coffee tables too. I sold that. They don't come to the door. They just message that they're here. I have to go out there and get them. But these two guys come in for the couch, and they're not really talking to me. They're talking to each other about it. And they mentioned to each other, but not to me, that they were waiting on someone else to show up with a van to load it. So then they go back outside and they sit in their car, and they're out there for almost an hour before the other person shows up. Of course, they don't tell me this or notify me or anything, which is not a big deal, but it's like they're just not communicating with me. But then they take it and they go, it's fine, whatever. It's just weird. Very odd way to act. But yeah, I do have a closing date now, which is next Thursday, which is a week from today. So I will be out of here. I do have made a reservation for a rental truck for next Wednesday, so I get everything moved in the storage. And I went to storage today. I took another load of stuff out there, just comic books. And I also, what I get? I got a post office box, so I can get my mail. That ended up being $67 for 6 months, which isn't bad. And I got my change of address filled out, so I'll get the mail to the post office box. Show you what I got going on. Mostly ready to go, and that's where I'm sleeping. It's not fun, but it's not comfortable either. I got most everything in here, Pats. Here's where the couch was. I got those emptied out, and I moved them mostly so I can vacuum the floor. And I took the TV down. The TV stand was there. Not too much interest in the TV or the Blu-ray player, so I don't think that stuff's gonna sell. I've been dropping the price on it, but here's the TV stand. This is gonna be problematic to move because of the weight. It's pretty thick. It's not gonna be that easily to manage. The dresser's not too bad. I mean, I've moved that. I can get that on the dolly. I'm not sure how I'm going to manage this one. And then I got the dining room table. I don't think that's going to sell. I've had a few people interested in it, but I just don't think it's going to go. Got a lot of the kitchen stuff packed. And since there's only a week left, I got the food down. Way down. I think I got one more meal I need to buy. It's probably just going to be a microwaved meals. This stuff's going to get thrown out. There's not too much left in that front bedroom. I still have comic books to move. And some more to package there. But I got all of this stuff out of here. A few other things to go. These boxes are loaded down. These will be hard to move. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. I just gotta keep packing up what's left. And I might make another trip to the storage unit. Let's make another load. At least one more. Just to lighten what I gotta move on Wednesday. If it's too much, it's just gonna be too difficult. Just do everything in one day. I still gotta work, and there's just so much constantly pacing around trying to figure out what I need to do next. I think that's all the updates. I just gotta make it through this next week. What else? I guess I could talk about how I ended up here. This home and this situation. I had a job, delivery job, delivering magazines. I started that in 2000. Of course, back then it was magazines sold a lot more than they do now. They really, I mean, there was a steady decline. The 20 years I did it. There was always talk about possibility they would shut us down. So I was always thinking about possibility of getting another job, but I never did. Couldn't figure out what else I wanted to do. I stuck with it, and we kept losing accounts. There was two major distributors. There was a company I worked for, which was the News Group, and there was Anderson News. There came a point in which the two companies merged. And it was at that point that I figured I'd stick around with it. I felt it stabilized at that point, but it wasn't always great. It never was. And then there came a point in which the airport route became available, and it was offered to me. And it was the route that I wanted. It was just the airport 5 days a week. That's all you did. There was that much work out there, that much stuff that went out. That's all you did. And I was offered it, and I took it, and I was happy there. And at that point, I was living in an apartment, and I had decided I wanted to buy a house. I had saved up, and I bought this house in April 2008. And it was rough, especially the first year. There's always new things you got to deal with in a house, new things you got to buy to deal with stuff. Especially when I had to have a new well dug. It was like $2,000. But then literally 6 months after I moved in here, in October of that year, there was a meeting at work in which they told us all the routes were going to be merchandised, which meant that as a driver, we would just go in, drop the product off, and a merchandiser would come in, work the product to the shelves, and then we would just pick up the return. And I hated that. It's not what I wanted to do. It's not what I signed up to do either. And that was just every route. That was their decision. And honestly, if I was still living in an apartment, probably would have quit. Because I had bought this house, I was only in it for 6 months at that time, I had too much of a financial responsibility to get a different job. So I stuck with it even though I hated it. And it got worse as they put more responsibilities on the drivers, less on the merchandisers. We were always at the whims of the merchandisers because they were just constantly screwing up, not doing returns right, not doing their paperwork right, and it was a pain in the ass, and I hated it. But I stuck with it, which I probably shouldn't have. I should have found a different job. As far as my financial problems, my debt that I have now, that started with squirrels in the attic. Came a point in which I was hearing noises up in the attic. So I had someone come out and look at it and give me a quote what it would cost, and it was over $1,000, which I did look up online, and that was kind of the average price it would cost. They were coming up in a hole up in the corner, just under the roof. So it wasn't a whole lot. It was like 1,300 something. But that started where I had credit card debt that I wasn't able to pay all the way down. Something else would break, and I'd have to get it fixed. So I would charge it, and it was just, I couldn't get my credit cards paid off completely. It just kept snowballing to where I'm at now. Right now, like, my credit card's almost completely maxed out. That's where I'm at. That's how I got here. And next week, once I sell the house and I pay off the mortgage, I will have close to $40,000, which is close to the amount of credit card debt I have. Yeah, I still got a lot to do this following week. I need to buy some more boxes. A few more boxes at least. Get the rest of the stuff packed up. Get it moved Wednesday. And then I will probably stream again Wednesday nights. Final night. Yeah, but I think that's it. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat.